This team does not know how to win. They don't believe in Aaron Rodgers. They don't believe in the scheme. This coaching staff, I said the downfall of the Jets going into the season was the coaching staff. I did not trust Bambi. I didn't trust Jeff Ulbrich as a defensive coordinator. I know Josh and a lot of Jet fans thought that Ulbrich was going to be a good NFL head coach. He's never going to get a head coaching job after what he has done with the New York Jets. Nothing. I don't want to hear about what they did against the Texans. The Texans didn't have Collins. They didn't have Stephon Diggs. They didn't have the weapons that they had weeks before when they were winning games. So I don't want to hear about that. What I do know right now, as far as the New York Jets are concerned, is they have an overrated running back in Breece Hall. I don't want to hear it. He's overrated. Garrett Wilson, he makes these unbelievable catches, and then he completely disappears in games. Davante Adams is old. He looks old. He's not the same player he was, as I guess the Raiders actually robbed a third-round draft pick for the New York Jets because Davante Adams isn't worth a third-round draft pick. I give Keith a lot of credit for that because he didn't think that he was worth a third-round draft pick. So Keith was right about him. The fact is right now, the offensive line looks terrible. It looks horrible. Elijah Vera Tucker, sayonara, goodbye. Do not bring him back. His knee it has not been, or his Achilles, because he tore his Achilles, but you could see that he's not the same player he once was. He tore his pec 1 year, then he tore his Achilles the year after. He's an injury-prone player. I do not pay him in the offseason. Let him go wherever he wants to go. I mean, right now, Tippmann has lost his job. I mean, they brought Connor back. So the only thing that tells me right now is Tippmann has, as far as his PFF is concerned, he has not been good the last 3 weeks, and that's why the Jets decided to bring in another center. And as far as the tackle positions, Morgan Moses can't stay healthy, and on the other side, Smith is old. He's an old man. He looks like an old man. He can't move like he did. He's nimble. He's not the same player he once was when he was with the Cowboys, the All-Pro Hall of Famer that he was. He's not that anymore. This offensive line, and by the way, Aaron Rodgers holds the ball way too long. He sits in the pocket, and he probably itches his ass too long to get the ball out of his hands. It's horrible. Watching him is like watching a peewee football player figure it out. He doesn't understand the scheme anymore. He can't move inside and out of the pocket anymore. He's afraid to do that after he tore his Achilles. So there's no confidence left over there. He doesn't trust anybody on the field, including Davante Adams. This team has looked horrible. And defensively, they can't stop anybody on third down. And I don't know what's going on with Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner looks horrible this year. This guy, 2 years, back-to-back years, was an All-Pro and Pro Bowl player. He is not that anymore. Teams are attacking the Jets on that side. They're not even throwing on DJ Reed's side. They're throwing against him. They absolutely crushed the Jets yesterday, throwing the ball at Sauce Gardner. It's horrible. This is an overrated secondary. DJ Reed. They gave Michael Carter all that money in the offseason. He's been horrible. And now you have Sauce Gardner, who goes and he does these signing autographs, and he thinks I'm not going to say it, his crap doesn't stink. He's embarrassing. This team is embarrassing. They suck. They're terrible. There's nothing good about them. This is the worst team in the NFL. This is the worst 3-8 team I've ever seen in NFL history. They're horrible. I don't want to hear any of the analysts anymore. I don't want to hear now all of a sudden everybody's attacking the Jets. All these analysts who are behind the Jets all season long. I gave up on the Jets after they lost against New England. They stink. They're no good. And I'm not going to sit here and make any excuses. Aaron Rodgers needs to be gone. He needs to be gone. Davante Adams, start over. Joe Douglas, gone. This coaching staff, gone. Start over. This team needs to be rung up by their friggin' necks. And Woody Johnson, stop it with your crap. You stand for whatever you stand for. I admit you spend money. You go out there and you spend the money. It's not all your fault. But when you go out there and you speak for the coaches and you speak for the GM, shame on you. You don't see Mara doing that. You don't see any of these big owners doing that. Do you see the Rooney family doing that? It's embarrassing. This is an embarrassment. The organization, as a Jet fan, I follow these teams, the Islanders, the Jets, the Yankees, and the Knicks. The Knicks have been disgusting for the first, 8-9 games of the season. They got to figure things out. And Tom, open your goddamn eyes. What the hell is going on? Defensively, this was the best defense in the league. One of the best offenses in the league. They're one of the worst defenses right now in the first 10 games. They're mediocre offensively. It's embarrassing. These New York teams, overrated. Over-friggin-rated. And the Jets, this is the biggest mockery of them all. Aaron Rodgers stands there, goes on a Pat McAfee show, opens his mouth, talks all he wants, and embarrasses himself. And now he's going to attack the coaches? How about you open your eyes, dude? Look at yourself in the mirror and realize you suck. You're not the same player you once were. I stuck up for you. I believed in you. You stink. You're not the same player you were. And Don, I'm going to take it back, guys. I will never compare him to Tom Brady, ever. After what I've seen over the last year of football, he is not Tom Brady or ever will be compared to Tom Brady again. I promise you guys, I will never put him in the same, at the top of his game, he was Tom Brady-esque. Right now, when Tom Brady walked away at 43, 44 years old, Tom Brady was a better player at 44 years old than Aaron Rodgers has been at the age of 40 to 42. He is embarrassing. He needs to retire, walk away from the game. He wants to come back next year. It better not be for the New York Jets. Go back to Green Bay and back up Jordan Love or something. I don't want you here. Go over there to the Raiders. And because Tom Brady right now is one of the owners over there, 10% owner. Let him go over there. I don't want him here anymore. It's an embarrassment. And him going out to the press conference is embarrassing himself. Enough said. I'm done. Put a cork in myself because I have nothing to say about this team. I don't even want to talk about him anymore. They stink.
Rodgers hold on to the ball, but then it wasn't the whole point of bringing Devontae Adams in to like spread the field and make it better, and it's gotten worse. And where does that come from? Is that play calling? And then obviously Rodgers now, like as we've all seen, and obviously we're not in the clubhouse, but is he have any say in that? And so now maybe he's trying to do the opposite and be like, well, everybody thinks I have this much control and blah, blah, blah. And now he's trying to put it on the coaches. Well, which one is it? You want to be involved or you don't want to be involved? You're that dude. And now you're putting blame. Like, why can't you ever put blame on yourself? Like, when we suck, we suck. Be accountable. Like, if I'm not playing well, I'm not playing well. Yeah, are there some drop passes here? Is my front five doing what they should do? Probably not. But at the same time, you are Aaron Rodgers. You've done this a long time. You know what you can do. Like, why are we putting blame on others when, let's take some blame for ourselves. I'm not saying it's all on him, but at the same time, you've got to be held accountable for your own shit at the same time. And if you're not, and you're always pushing it off, and then you go on these other shows and you do other, and I don't know the dude, never had dinner with him, never anything. So I don't know what it is, but at the same time, when you're an athlete, you have to be held accountable to your own self because you got to look at yourself in the mirror. You can't put blame always on everybody else.
No, I agree with you. And I think the problem with Aaron Rodgers is he doesn't take responsibility for this absolute debacle of a season for the New York Jets. And again, it has to do with coaching. There's no doubt that this coaching staff was really the downfall of this team moving forward in this season. The Hassan Reddick situation, not figuring it out early before the preseason started, that hurt them, bringing them there. And now he's speaking offset. It's been really embarrassing. I think everything that's gone on to the New York Jets, it smacked them right in the head. It's hit them tenfold. So it's not been anything more than just a train wreck. They have fallen apart. This team, and I don't know what's going on in that locker room, but I'm sure at the end of the season, you're going to be hearing things that we have not heard all season long because everybody's keeping it a secret or trying to keep it within the house. Because if it comes out, it could turn into an absolute riot for the New York Jets. And this has been the New York Jets for many, many years. When things start to fall apart, everybody starts to point their fingers. Coaches go out there, speak to the press, and throw players under the bus, the GM under the bus. I'm going to tell you this right now. Joe Douglas is hiding under his table right now. He is hiding because he made a decision all season long, and especially in the offseason, finding ways to help Aaron Rodgers out. Make sure that Aaron Rodgers is happy. They went after Devontae Adams. He gave up a third-round draft pick for Devontae Adams. And look where they are. Jet fans were so excited when Devontae Adams came in. I wasn't, because I thought they gave up too much for Davante Adams for what, a half a season? And that wasn't guaranteeing them to go to the Super Bowl. That wasn't guaranteeing them to go to the playoffs. I just think this team has been nothing but an embarrassment. So as far as I'm concerned, I can't sit here and make any excuses for what Greg Giannotti said or anybody. To me, Vacchiano and Greg Giannotti are absolutely right. This team has been nothing but a bunch of losers, and they will be considered losers until they figure out how to get into the playoffs. Not even get over the hump to go to the Super Bowl. Actually make the playoffs. They have had the longest drought in NFL history now moving forward. What is it, 15 years, 14 years they haven't been in the playoffs? They have the longest drought from all the NFL teams right now.
Pretty funny to watch him call out the coaching staff this week when he called out Robert Saleh, right? He had a really good coach in Saleh who's been proven. Obviously had the defense playing way better when he was there. He's like, hey, get him out of here. It's his fault. Now he's like, okay, well, we've had 3 shit weeks in a row. Let's call out the coaching staff again. What does he want? I mean, like, obviously he's got to look in the mirror, say, hey, maybe it's on me. Maybe I got to get Wilson the ball more. Maybe we got to get that Love, who's a really, really good running back, and they never get him in a rhythm. Maybe we need to get him the ball more because I can't do what I'm supposed to do on a consistent basis. Can't just always be like, hey, this coach sucks. This coach sucks. Like, what do you want to do? Build a fantasy team of coaches and see if he can get those guys on his team for next year? I guess it's kind of at this point, it's, hey, I got to look at myself. What can we do better? I think they can run the ball better. Breece Hall's a really good running back for them. And they never get him really in a rhythm. Job and I watched the game the other week, and it was, he would go off for 10, 15 yards, 3 runs in a row, and then he wouldn't get the ball for the next 20 plays. They want to make it the Aaron Rodgers show, and then he's like, oh, coaching's doing us down. No, it's, you're not getting a consistent run game. You're not getting to your playmakers, and it's on you. So you can't just keep calling out the coaches.
You keep saying Breece Hall, he doesn't get enough touches. He got 16 touches yesterday. 16, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. There are weeks that he's touching the ball 20, 22 times, and he's not getting enough. I think they're running the ball too much. They're not giving Allen enough chances to touch the ball. You got to see what you have there. And you're rebuilding now. You're not a playoff team. You were never a playoff team going into this game. The fact that everybody thought, or anybody thought, that they had a chance to make the playoffs, it's ridiculous. Right now, the Jets have to decide, where do they move forward now that you go into the offseason? Who are you keeping? You're going to keep Sauce. You're going to keep Garrett Wilson. You're going to keep some of the young players that you have. I think you need to part ways with Elijah Vera Tucker. That whole offensive line needs to be reconstructed again. I think the fact is Olu is going to be the future left tackle. Start moving him to that left tackle position and playing him there for the rest of the season and see what you got over there. Is he a right tackle or left tackle? And move forward with this. The Jets need to decide where they're going. Are they going to move forward with Aaron Rodgers next year? If they're not, they start moving towards moving him out of there, taking him out and bringing in Tyrod Taylor. See what you got with Tyrod Taylor, because Tyrod Taylor has 1 more year left on his contract after this year. Tyrod would probably be the starter for the New York Jets next year. And then you have Jordan Travis, who will probably be the backup quarterback, who probably is your future quarterback moving forward from Florida State University in about a year or two. So I think that's the route I would go if I was the New York Jets. And I think Tyrod Taylor will give you a better chance to win, by the way. I really do, because he actually has legs. And that's something that a guy like Aaron Rodgers has no more of. And we've seen that in the last, 3 weeks? The guy cannot move inside and out of the pocket anymore. He is an old man who moves like an old man now. And I think he just needs to walk away from the game. It's a shameful thing. This is what happens. When you go to New York, when you go to the Jets, you die. That's what happens. Just ask anybody. You go to the Jets and you die.